Okay, all right. Good afternoon, everyone. Yeah. Okay. So I hope you guys is having lunch or maybe have had your lunch just now. So hope that you enjoy that. Okay. Before we start, right? So guess yeah. Seems I have some technical problem in here. Give me a second. Hi everyone. Right. Give me a second. Let me set up the thing first. Okay. So yeah. Just I guess I guess I can't you can't use I guess you can't use the camera that being set up right in front of me. So I think for today's session I'll just utilize my own webcam. Okay, alright. Yeah, it's been delayed for 3 minutes. Yeah, I think sorry about that. Okay, so voice check, is it okay? Sound check, sound check, sound check, sound check. Right. Okay, I guess everything is being set right now. So I just use my own webcam. So just today I have this thing to share together with to share to you. Because for today I'll talk about hmm I'll talk about this and how to assemble this thing. So since I can only use my webcam, yeah, but still it's okay. I can still show you guys some slides and also some videos, and hopefully you guys can learn a thing of two learn a thing of or two from it. Okay, let's start our session today. So good afternoon everyone. So I'm your speaker today, Calvin. For today we will talk about for today we will talk about the how to assemble how to assemble a pressure regulators and also some of the procedures. So for us to start our session today, I will show you in slides. Then yeah, let me put on the slide. Then you guys can have much. All of us can know better than on the session that we are having today. Yeah. So okay. Right. So you all can, so you all can see the slide. Yeah, I saw it on my phone as well. So you all can see the slide. Let me check on the voice again. Yes. So for today, we will talk about how to install a pressure regulators. And for today's session, because since that this is the first time that we will do it, so for today, I will talk about some of the common model. So which is the back pressure and back pressure already, and also the reducing type. So for today's model, I will be focused on the UBAN, which is the reducing type, and also the UBS, which is the back pressure and relief type. So just a recall back to our session last week. So for the back pressure and relief function, so it's actually used to regulate the inlet, which is all the upstream pressure. So for the reducing regulator, it's used to regulate the downstream, which also called as the outlet pressure. Then for due to the design, right? So for reducing regulators, so actually the spring action is the spring action will be act on to open, to open up the valve. While for the back pressure or the relief function, so the spring action is actually act on to close the valve. So yeah, this is the cross section of the reducing type. So we will start with this model UBAN, and yeah, so I will talk about one by one on the parts. Then later when I show you guys some of the photo on how to assemble, then you will know that which part is actually which part is what, and also where to install those. Yeah, so this is the gasket. So for UBA model, we will have 5 of them, which you can see on the on the valve cross section. Then second one, the one that highlighted in red, that is the valve body. And then one is a high pressure insert. Then this is a flange inlet, which is connected to the pipeline. And then this is the plug. So, okay, you look at the special design of the plug. So it's like it's having a stem, and then it's holding. It's holding on the seat. So I'm not sure whether you can see this or not. Yeah. So it's actually over here. So you can see that. So this thing holding is a plug. Quite heavy. Yeah. So the next one is this one is a plug screw. Then this is a disc, which is the sealing elements. And then the next one is the actuator diaphragm case. And this is the diaphragm, the lower diaphragm plate, which is used to hold the diaphragm. Sorry, I'm looking at the wrong camera, which I should look at here. Okay, so this is a diaphragm. So for diaphragm, we have been shared previously. So we have both elastomer material and also the metals material. So the next one, this one is O-ring in here, and also the upper diaphragm plate. Okay. And this, of course, which just now the one that Rose mentioned, the one is very big, which is in the blue color shown here. So this is the spring. And also this one, the external one, which is to cover up, is called the spring case. And this is the guide, which to guide the plug whether to open or close. To close the regulators. And the next one is a start nut. This one is for the connection to between flange and body. And this is a screw at the internal part. Okay, this is a spring button, the lower spring buttons, and there's the upper spring buttons. And there's a more in there is for us to use. To control on the adjustment screw. Then this is the adjustment screw lock nut. That means once that you have reached to your set pressure, then you can tighten up it so that it will not alter easily, or it might misalign. So that is the adjustment screw for us to set the set pressure for the regulators. So lastly, the screw and nut, which is to tighten, to connect between the diaphragm bracket and also the spring case. So before we move into I show you the video. So maybe we can have let me check that is okay. Let me show you another slide. So which is okay, this one. My seems a bit lag today. Sorry about that. Yeah, okay. Okay. So for now, I will show you the visual procedures for the assembly of our body. And okay, right. So this is the one that we have show one by one during the cross section of the regulator just now. So the first module is on the plug disc, and also the plug tab, which sometimes we call it as the plug screw. So so the arrow actually showing how to put everything in place. So remember, when screwing, don't over tighten it. So if you see a rubber budge, or maybe the deform of the rubber, so it means that you tighten too strong. So by right, the rubber should stay flat as showing in the picture. Okay, so this is the connection of the flange and also to the valve body. So it actually consists of the low pressure body and also the long and short starts. Okay, so in here you can see that the sub module, which is the module of the sub module 1A, which we go back to this slide, is a plug piece and also the plug screw. So it should be inserted. It should be inserted from the top. Then later on you cover it up with the PTFE gasket cover, and then tighten it with nuts. So yeah. Then so remember, so your orientation should you should always make sure that your orientation is correct. So you have to aware of where is the inlet and also where is the outlet, because that will definitely affect the functionality of the regulators. Yeah. So yeah, after you put everything in, put all the stud in place, then you should insert the high pressure body into it. But before that, remember to put in your to put in the gasket, because for metal and metal contact, definitely you would require a gasket for the better, I mean, to prevent any leakage. So yeah, this is then after that we can I mean, after we put in the high pressure body, so we can yeah, hold on, I missed something. So if you look at the bottom corner parts, so there's a pin. So that pin actually for us to make sure to confirm, I mean to confirm the high pressure body is actually installing in the right orientations. Yeah, after that to install the flange. Yeah, just like this. So this is a complete buff body. Then, but then our work is still not is still not complete yet. So the next is to install the actuator. So first, I will show you the one that with that the actuator model 120. So which the actuator type is actually smaller. Yeah. So the first is to install the lower actuator flange, and also to put and then tighten it up with the socket head screw. Then the second is put on the PTAB gasket. And next is the inferior rings, or maybe you call it the lower actuator brackets. And okay, next one is yeah, the plate and also the O-ring. Okay, this one. After that is and after that we should put on the diaphragm. Upper diaphragm is the upper diaphragm bracket. Then another O-ring to prevent any leakage from the body. Then the next one, yeah, we log it. I mean, after installing number 9, which is the diaphragm plate, or maybe as the guide that we have shown just now, then tighten it with then lock it with the nut. So and then okay, after that we can put on the spring, and also yeah, and also the ball that I have showing just now. Then cover it up with the spring cover, then spring cover, and then put on the lock nut and also the adjustment screw. Later on, close it with the top cover. So that's how you complete assemble of a pressure regulators. Then this one is actually similar, but then with a larger size of the actuator, which is the model 220. So the actuator size is actually is slightly bigger. So the procedure roughly the same. So you can see that actually is still so the procedure of putting on the part is similar. So just that for this one, the diaphragm is actually slightly bigger. So we have to make sure that so you have to make sure that all of your screw cavity is aligned. So you can so where you can tighten up the spring case. Yeah, so similar product. Then after that, put on the spring, and then put on the spring loader and also the ball, and after it cover up with the spring cover. So that's how we install the actuator. Actually, it's quite simple. Okay, even though when you guys, I mean, previously when we share about the application, it seems like it's something self-actuated, but actually to assemble this thing is actually not that hard. Just that you require a certain trainings and also a few hands-on experience. So now I will talk about another one is that the precaution that we have to keep in mind when we are installing this UBAN model is that okay, first thing is to be sure to visually check whether the plug is aligned to the high pressure body insert. Okay, so you see why we need to align that is that because yeah, as you can see in here, so you see due to the design of the plug, right? So we have to prevent that the side part. I mean the both sides of the plug they have contact with your nozzle to prevent I mean to make sure that there's no any contact because once contact you can actually outlet it will affect the functionality of the regulator. Secondly, it also increase the wear and tear. So how to align that? Okay, first thing is that once that you install, I mean, you install the valve body, then when you put on the plug, first thing is that you rotate clockwise until the plug touch the high pressure body insert, and then you put a small mark on it. Then secondly, you rotate again, but then this time in opposite direction to make sure, and then up until you touch, I mean, you feel that there is the contact. So by doing so, then you will know that how much the how much is the freedom of movement of the rotation. Then after you mark both right, then means that you have 2 points. Then you slowly turn the thing into the center of it, so that you can have something like this. So it's perfectly at the center, and then it's without any contact. Then second one is the procedure to align the spring cover. And then this is rather simple is that because one of the thumb rule is that we will always make sure that this this port is facing to the to the downstream. Yeah, just as simple as that. Right. That's where am I? All right. Just as simple as that. So then next perhaps I will show you guys a video on how to deassembly and also assemble back a UBAN model. Okay, let me put on the videos. Yeah, there you go.
We are ready to disassemble the valve, starting from the actuator. First, note the position of the adjusting screw. Loosen the lock nut and release the spring by unscrewing the adjusting screw. Remove the bolts in order to disassemble the spring cover. Remove the spring and the nut. Remove the diaphragm plate on the upside and the little plate on the underside. Remove the actuator flange and its gasket. Disassembling the body. After having disassembled the actuator, go on with the body. Remove the underside cover and its gasket. Disassemble the flanges and air gasket. Remove the high pressure body and gasket by means of the little round bar. Remove the plug. Disc inspection. Now we are going to discuss the disc replacement for different disc materials. Disc material is related to the degree of valve tightness. FKM. Tighten the plug screw, paying attention not to deform the disc plane. After having assembled the plug screw, block it with a chisel stroke. Stainless steel. The disc has to be assembled with a clearance in order to make the disc plane mate with the seat ring. Check that the pressure intake is clean by means of the thin pin. Body reassembly. To reassemble the valve, perform the disassembling operations in reverse order, replacing the parts that need to. Push the plug stem into the guide and put the high pressure body into position. Assemble the flanges and the underside cover with their gaskets. Tighten the bolts by means of the dynamometric spanner. Check the movement of the plug stem. Assemble the actuator flange, interposing the gasket. Tighten the Allen screws by means of the proper dynamometric spanner. Assemble the little plate with the O-ring. Mount the diaphragm with their inner ring relief upside. Mount the diaphragm plate with the rifling on the underside, then the spring guide. Tighten the nut keeping the stem firm. Check that the plug is at right angles to the high pressure body. Use as a reference the diaphragm holes. Assemble the spring loader and the spring case. Tighten the bolts with the proper dynamometric spanner. Return the adjusting screw to the position noted. Exact calibration must be checked in working conditions.
Right, back to me again. So make a little special effect. Right. So yeah, that's a video on how to assemble a UBN model, which is the pressure reducing regulators. And okay, so I guess now let us back to our slides. So I have so next one we will move into yeah. Okay, right. So the next one we will move into the blood pressure or the blood pressure or the relief functions. So basically, the difference is that because due to the difference in application, so they are slightly different in at the internal part of the regulators. So, but as you can see, right, there's not so overall. So the part is so on overall, so the part are quite similar, just that they are a little different except for UBS model, which is for the blood pressure function. So they have this bottom part which they call as a blind head. Then for this one, so for UBS model, so the gasket only require 3 sets, as shown. I mean, as been shown in the cross section. So yeah, the same as for the valve body, they for UPS they no longer are separated between the high pressure and also low pressure body. So they have one all in one overall. So this one end for the plug. So this is how the plug looks like. So you can have a solid plug which is attached to the stem. Then this is the plug ring. Then yeah, similar as a disc for the sealing element. Then this is the seat and also the or they call it as the orifice. Yeah. So that's roughly on. So that's what each of the parts name. So I guess yeah, due to the time is almost up. So let us quickly move into the next video that I'm gonna share you. So for the next video, let me get back to the live control. Yeah. So for the next video, so I will show you on the how to assemble a a UBS model.
Video we are going to see the operations with the parts inspection and replacement of an UBS back pressure valve. Now we describe the recommended spare parts that we are going to replace in the video. 2 flat gaskets, inner diameter 56 mm. Items number 2 AB. 1 O-ring, item number 10. 1 diaphragm, item number 8. 1 plug, item number 22. 1 disc, item number 24. Made of FKM, PTFE or stainless steel. 1 plug screw, item number 23. We are ready to disassemble the valve, starting from the actuator. Before we start the operations, remember to wear gloves, safety shoes and safety glasses. First, note the position of the adjusting screw. Loosen the lock nut and release the spring by unscrewing the adjusting screw. Remove the bolts in order to disassemble the spring cover. Remove the spring and the nut. Remove the spring guide, the diaphragm plate on the upside, the diaphragm, the little plate on the underside, and the O-ring. Remove the actuator flange and its gasket. After having disassembled the actuator, go on with the body. Remove the underside cover and its gasket. Remove the seat by means of a proper tool. Remove the plug. Disc material is related to the degree of valve tightness. As an example, we are considering a FKM disc. After having replaced the disc, tighten the plug screw, paying attention not to deform the disc plane. To reassemble the valve, perform the disassembling operations in reverse order, replacing the parts that need to. Push the plug stem into the guide. Assemble the seat after having checked its condition. If it is worn, through it by rubbing it with a metal disc and abrasive paste. Assemble and tighten the underside cover with its gasket. Assemble the actuator flange, interposing the gasket. Tighten the Allen screws by means of the proper dynamometric spanner. Assemble the little plate with the O-ring. Mount the diaphragm with the inner ring relief upside. Mount the diaphragm plate with the rifling on the underside. Tighten the nut, keeping the stem firm. Assemble the spring loader, and the spring case. Tighten the bolts with the proper dynamometric spanner. Return the adjusting screw to the position noted. Exact calibration must be checked in working conditions.
Right, so that's how the assembly of the pressure regulators. So credit to Caro team who shares this video and for it to share together with our sorry shares share together with our audience. And yeah, so I guess that should be a wrap up for our the fundamental class for the pressure regulators. So last week we shared the fundamentals on the applications, and now we share on how to install and also disassemble disassemble a pressure regulators. Yeah, so I guess yeah, roughly it's a time for us today. So just in case you guys have any further questions, so feel free to drop us or send us or DM us. Yeah, and yeah, that's all for my part today. So stay tuned for tomorrow. So tomorrow we will have another speaker. So he will share about the actuator. So thanks for your time. Thanks for joining us today. I'm your speaker today, Kelvin. Yeah, thank you. Bye.